The HOA president stormed onto my grandmother's porch, eviction papers in hand, smirking as if she'd hit the jackpot. Little did she know, I owned the serene pond she gazed at and the sole parking area her upscale enclave relied on. I'm Liam, and just 3 months back, I feared losing the legacy my family had nurtured for generations. Karen Whitaker had branded my cozy lodge an ugly blight unfit for her pristine subdivision. She slapped me with a 72-hour ultimatum to vacate the retreat my grandma Eleanor bequeathed me, or brace for court. Bullies like her skipped the due diligence, and Karen had tangled with the wrong lineage. To truly understand the depth of this conflict, let's delve deeper into the roots of my inheritance and the idyllic world it represented. Flashback to 2 years prior. I inherited Eleanor's pondside lodge after her passing at 92. Built in 1964 from native oak, it was a humble haven for our kin, standing resilient against time's relentless march. Eleanor jokingly dubbed it her useless bog plot, but her eyes always twinkled with a secret knowledge that hinted at layers beneath the surface. This wasn't just any piece of land. It was a tapestry woven with family stories, laughter echoing through the trees, and quiet moments of reflection that shaped who I am. Post-divorce, when my high-stakes finance career in the bustling city crumbled under the weight of endless deadlines and hollow achievements, I sought refuge here. I traded tailored suits for flannel shirts, skyscrapers for towering pines, and chaotic boardrooms for the soothing rhythm of freelance coding from a wooden desk overlooking the water. The property, according to outdated tax records, spanned a modest 2.5 acres of dense woods and misty wetlands, but it felt like an entire world unto itself. Every morning, the dawn chorus of ducks and geese rippled across the glassy pond, their calls harmonizing with the gentle lapping of water against the shore. I'd brew a strong cup of tea, Eleanor's favorite blend, and sit on the wraparound porch, watching ancient egrets stalk through the reeds with predatory grace, their long necks curving like question marks in the mist. As the sun climbed higher, the light would dance on the water's surface, turning it into a living mirror that reflected the changing seasons. In spring, wildflowers bloomed in riots of color along the banks. Summer brought lazy afternoons with dragonflies skimming the surface. Autumn painted the leaves in fiery hues that fell like confetti into the pond, and winter cloaked everything in a serene blanket of snow, the ice cracking like distant thunder under the weight of wildlife. Evenings were my sanctuary. I'd wander to the aged pier, its boards worn smooth by decades of footsteps, and dangle my toes in the crystal-clear depths. The water was so pure you could spot schools of fish darting among submerged rocks 25 feet below, their scales flashing like hidden treasures. This place wasn't just a home. It was a balm for the soul, a reminder that life could be simple and profound. But as with all paradises, shadows inevitably crept in. For years ago, ambitious developer Marcus Lang unveiled Pondview Meadows, a sprawling development of 48 cookie-cutter mansions that encircled our tranquil waters. Like an encroaching army of uniformity, these homes, with their manicured lawns, oversized garages, and identical facades, transformed the once wild landscape into a suburban fortress. Most of the newcomers were harmless enough, retirees escaping the relentless noise of urban life, young families chasing the dream of fresh air and open spaces, professionals like me who craved a quieter existence. They brought barbecues, children's laughter, and a sense of community that, at first, seemed welcoming. Yet, every neighborhood harbors its tyrant, and ours materialized in the form of Karen Whitaker, who arrived from a nondescript exurb in her pristine Mercedes, exuding the polished arrogance of someone accustomed to country club privileges. With her perfectly coiffed hair, designer golf attire, and an air of unearned superiority, she quickly positioned herself as the arbiter of taste and order. Within mere months, she had maneuvered her way to the helm of the Shoreline Enhancement Board, a self-appointed committee that wielded influence like a scepter. Her reign of petty despotism began innocuously but escalated with alarming speed. It started with the gentle Harises, an elderly couple whose charming tool shed, painted a cheerful robin egg blue, drew her ire. She imposed a $350 fine for their refusal to conform to the board's mandated drab taupe, citing visual harmony as if color were a crime. Next, she targeted Joe Harlan, a stoic World War II veteran whose modest flagpole proudly displayed the stars and stripes. Karen demanded its removal, labeling it an illicit structure, and threatened $60 daily penalties until he complied, ignoring the deep patriotism it represented. The sound of her stilettos tapping across driveways became a harbinger of doom. Residents would tense at that rhythmic clack, 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 bracing for yet another lecture on upholding property values and adhering to community standards. The tension simmered for months, but it boiled over 20 months ago when the HOA officially coalesced as Marcus Lang sold off his final plots. Karen, ever the opportunist, rallied a quartet of spineless directors to assert retroactive dominion over all shorefront properties, including my lodge, which predated their artificial empire by half a century. My Aunt Helen, a battle-hardened estate attorney with decades of experience, had long warned me about such overreaches. HOAs love to claim power they don't have if no one pushes back, she'd say, her voice laced with the wisdom of countless courtroom victories. Karen's audacity knew no bounds. She attempted to impose her rules on land that had been teeming with wildlife long before she was born, let alone before she started dictating aesthetics. The harassment campaign unfolded like a meticulously planned siege. Monthly invoices for $350 in mandatory community dues arrived like clockwork, followed by certified letters demanding $1,500 in design review penalties because my lodge's natural oak cladding didn't match the approved bland vinyl siding. I dismissed them as baseless, tossing the papers into the crackling fireplace, confident that any competent judge would recognize the grandfathered status of our property established during the Nixon administration. But I hadn't yet verified the full extent of those protections, an oversight that would soon prove pivotal. Undeterred, Karen escalated her tactics. She enlisted a dubious lawyer, likely fresh from some online certification, to file fraudulent liens against my title. When those crumbled under scrutiny, she delved into my personal history, unearthing my divorce records to portray me as an unstable nomad who endangered neighborhood harmony. Whispers spread through backyard gatherings and online forums, fracturing the community like cracks in thawing ice. Karen's inner circle of about 15 devotees, those obsessed with matching mailboxes and uniform landscaping, rallied behind her. Another 20 residents sympathized with my plight but remained silent, haunted by the fates of the Harises and Joe Harlan. The remaining families simply yearned for tranquility, baffled by the obsession with eradicating my rustic charm in favor of sterile suburbia. The climax of this brewing storm arrived on that frosty Wednesday morning. Karen ascended my front steps with theatrical flair, her heels drumming against Eleanor's time-worn planks like a declaration of war. Clutching the eviction papers like sacred edicts, her expensive cologne clashing with the fresh pine scent of the air, she lectured me on standards with the condescension of someone who believed she owned the moral high ground. Standing there, absorbing her tirade on soil my ancestors had claimed generations ago, I recalled Eleanor's enigmatic grin whenever she mentioned her bog plot. It was time to peel back the layers and discover the true inheritance she'd left behind. The following morning, as I stood in my kitchen gazing out at Karen's Mercedes gleaming in what everyone presumed was the communal parking lot, my coffee tasted like brewed retribution. She'd wasted no time amplifying her assault after serving the notice. Within hours, she'd lodged a formal complaint with the County Code Enforcement Office, alleging that Eleanor's sturdy old barn, a structure that had withstood 58 harsh winters, was an unpermitted hazard, posing immediate risks. Ironically, her own McMansions were already showing hairline foundation cracks after just 4 years. But that was merely her opening salvo. At the Miller's weekend grill out, amid the smoky aroma of sizzling burgers and the chatter of neighbors, Karen held court by the condiment table. Her voice, dripping with feigned concern, wove tales of my erratic behavior and disregard for safety, declaring, "We cannot let one selfish holdout dismantle our shared investments." She dabbed at her lips with a napkin, as if wiping away the remnants of her verbal daggers. Her digital offensive followed swiftly. On the neighborhood's private online group, she posted a lengthy manifesto decrying the erosion of shared values, accompanied by photographs of my lodge, captured from the most unflattering angles, shadowy corners emphasizing age rather than character. Captions like, "When unity fails, the cost of noncompliance," and "Why standards protect us all," garnered likes from her loyalists, but elicited eye-roll reactions from the majority. The venom was seeping in, dividing friends and fostering suspicion. It was then that a snippet from Aunt Helen's holiday anecdote resurfaced in my mind. Over whiskey during last year's family gathering, she'd regaled us with tales of property law quirks, emphasizing how vintage shorefront parcels often harbored overlooked legal shields. "Always verify your rights before capitulating to intimidators," she'd advised, clinking her glass. "Knowledge is the ultimate shield against tyranny." Motivated, I ventured into the county courthouse's dimly lit basement archives on Monday, enveloped by the musty scent of yellowed documents and the incessant buzz of fluorescent lights. Clerk Agnes, a veteran filer since the Reagan era, became my navigator through the labyrinth of historical records. "Most people never dig beyond their tax bills, dear," she said with a knowing smile, pulling dusty folders with practiced ease. "But old shore deeds? They mature like fine bourbon, revealing complexities with time." What I uncovered sent adrenaline surging through my veins. My property boasted established riparian rights tracing back to an 1895 homestead grant, ironclad privileges over water access that no modern HOA or regulation could supersede. Moreover, every building on the land predated current zoning laws by decades, securing them under robust grandfather clauses that rendered them legally inviolable. But Agnes delivered the game changer. Squinting at faded script through her bifocals, she noted, "Your boundary extends 250 feet farther east than modern maps indicate, per this 1963 survey notation." The implication hit like a thunderclap. What lay 250 feet east? Agnes' eyes twinkled. That would encompass their gravel parking lot, the one they all treat as communal. The twist was exquisite. Karen was attempting to evict me from my own land, while her entire subdivision unwittingly trespassed on it every day. With photocopies clutched in trembling hands, my thoughts raced toward the possibilities. If verified, every vehicle in that lot, including Karen's prized Mercedes, occupied my private territory. An hour later, I burst into Aunt Helen's office, where the aroma of aged leather and polished wood evoked a sanctuary of legal triumphs. Her face, lined with 4 decades of battling Goliaths, lit up as she pored over the documents. "Liam, my dear nephew," she murmured, tracing the lines with a finger calloused from years of turning pages in law books. Eleanor was a master strategist. "This isn't just an HOA skirmish, it's their parking catastrophe. We'll need a fresh survey to lock it in." Driving home, passing the lot where Karen's car sat smugly on what was potentially my ground, a grin spread across my face. She had ignited a legal firestorm against my family's heritage. Now, it was my turn to fan the flames. Karen didn't idle. By Thursday, she'd convened an emergency HOA meeting for Friday, plastering notices on mailboxes like warrants. The agenda read like a manifesto, addressing rogue properties and urgent safety threats. She then launched a door-to-door crusade, her stilettos clicking with military precision as she peddled fear. From my window, I watched her charm and coerce, clipboard in hand. "We must unite, or our values will plummet. Do you want your nest egg ruined by one defiant outlier?" By evening, she'd amassed 25 signatures, endorsing decisive legal measures. The atmosphere reeked of division, like smoke from a smoldering feud. Desperate for more ammunition, I descended into Eleanor's forbidden basement, a cedar-scented vault of old papers and history. Grief and urgency fueled my search through meticulously organized boxes. Tax receipts from the Kennedy years, permits, county letters, all preserved. With archival care, the locked cedar chest in the corner yielded the prize, the original 1963 survey, drafted by surveyor Harrison Reed with pinpoint accuracy. This wasn't mere mapping. It documented the division of my great-grandfather's homestead. Tracing the eastern line, my heart pounded. It extended 278 feet, fully engulfing the kidney-shaped parking lot. For 4 years, I'd witnessed daily invasions without knowing. Every luxury sedan, family van, and utility truck crunching gravel was on my soil. But ancient surveys demanded modern validation. Friday morning, I pleaded with Nathan Reed, Harrison S son and firm inheritor, for an urgent check. Those old homestead splits often bury surprises lost in digital transitions, he said, loading high-tech GPS. Here, 3 hours of measurements later, irrefutable. You own 18 prime spots and the access road. Then the bombshell, cross-referencing with historical water logs, Nathan revealed riparian boundaries extending into the pond. You don't just have the lot. You control the bed where there are 25 boats more. My mind reeled. The HOA had pocketed $250 monthly per slip for 48 months, $300,000 in fees from my waters. Karen wasn't just harassing. She was profiting from theft. Friday evening's community center thrummed with anticipation. 45 residents squeezed into chairs amid stale coffee fumes. Karen dominated the podium, proclaiming, "Tonight, we reclaim our haven from defiance." I sat in the shadows, survey in lap, ready to educate on true ownership. The weekend ushered in psychological warfare fit for a thriller. A news van idled on my lot, reporter rehearsing concern while Karen spun squatter danger. Patrols documented my routines, a restraining order cited. Fabricated erratics, backed by perjured affidavits from indebted neighbors. Diving deeper into pond ownership, state archives revealed the ultimate revelation. The 52-acre pond remained private. Attached to my parcel since 1963. Every boat launch, swim, fish, trespass. HOA ads had hyped my waters for sales, securing tax breaks worth $350,000 collectively, based on illusory access. Sonar surveys with Nathan confirmed. I held nearly all shoreline in bed. Karen S. flyer warned of rogue summit with sheriff for security. Aunt Helen strategized. Let her overextend. Reveal the lot. Reserve pond nuke. Her office became war room. Nathan flagged boundaries, orange bright. Ally Laura Klein, environmental law expert, unpacked pond precedents. Neighbor Owen exposed Karen S. embezzlement. BMW leased on HOA dime. Club fees as development. $20,000 skimmed. She's a crook, Owen fumed. Plan, lot shock first, pond if needed. Propose equitable fees. $30 per month parking, $120 per year access, $90 per slip, generous steals. Pre-battle, Karen hired a PI trespassing for dirt. Code check cleared my lodge superior. Her safety meet smeared me unstable. Cams captured her invasions. Owen S. records detailed her racket. Sheriff probed fake threats. Her lawyer prepped slides assassinating my character. Divorce as volatility, lodge, hazard, bogus value drops. Evening center overflowed, sheriff vigilant. Karen S. onslaught, skewed photos, dire projections, motion for $600 fines. Votes surged. I interjected. Before ballots, see facts. Nathan projected boundaries, swallowing lot. Murmurs swelled. And the pond. Mine entirely. Your fees misplaced. Pandemonium, sheriff mediated. I extended peace. Fair agreement saves money, funds enhancements. Vote. 44-1 affirm, Karen silenced. Weeks on, new association democratized, Karen fled amid probes, homes sold at loss. Pond view flourished, upgraded lot, eco beach, stocked fish. Values peaked with legal surety. Eleanor S. Fund sponsors green studies. Festival fosters unity, media spotlights our model. Dusk on pier, laughter rings, I wielded power for good. Yet, did leniency soften justice? Or should tyrants face utter downfall? Weigh in below on mercy versus retribution in communal clashes. What's equitable when heritages collide? Like, subscribe for more sagas of outsmarting oppressors.